It's the new year, which means it's time for some resolutions. This year, my resolution is learning how to do the robot. Also, I'm going to update my COVID vaccine booster. An updated COVID vaccine boosts your protection against severe illness, hospitalization, and the worst outcomes of COVID. Find updated vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is my advice to a lot of people who are like talking about like relationship stuff. I'm like, what do you want? You know, like you have to kind of decide what the priority is.
Totally.
And I think that's like, it ends up falling on the other person who is very clear on what their priorities are.
Yeah.
And
That's such a good point. That's
yeah.
such a
So
good
like
way to
for
put
her,
it.
it's like she knows what her priorities are at this point. So then it's like, well, then if you can't align on the priorities, then we just got to stop.
Totally.
And I think like a lot of people just don't know individually what their priorities are, and they're like, because you want everything. You want you want like exactly what you want, and if it doesn't happen, you have to like prioritize.
Jenny, how you doing?
Really good.
Are you excited to be on this episode of the Asian Not Asian podcast?
Yes, so excited. First guest of the season.
Welcome everybody to the Asian Not Asian podcast, the podcast with all your favorite Asian friends. I'm Mike Nguyen.
I'm Jenny Arimoto.
And this is the second episode of season 3. It is a beautiful day. It's
burning hot in here.
It's super warm in here because of climate change.
Yeah.
I think that's how that works.
Exactly.
And my back pain has subsided.
Oh, because of the heat? Oh, no, just in general.
Just in general. That's just something I want people to know.
I didn't know that you had back pain to begin with.
Are you kidding me? That's like my thing.
Nice.
I love back pain.
Hell yeah.
That's like my favorite thing now.
Okay, go off. Go off, King.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to us and invite us into your homes and or workout routine, whatever you do when you listen to podcasts. Real quick, up top, if you enjoy the content, please consider liking and rating the show, leaving a nice review on the podcast app.
Please.
Why?
Because I can't handle negative reviews.
Please.
I literally spiral.
Don't make Jenny spiral.
Please.
You can talk shit about me. Just be like,
don't. It can't be negative at all.
Okay, don't be negative at all.
Because I'll still spiral.
No criticism.
No criticism.
Only positive things.
If you have criticism, email us directly. I'll take that.
Oh, you prefer that?
Yeah. I'll take that to like a star. Like it's like when it's like grades, I can't handle it.
Oh, I see.
Because then I'm like, it's hurting my grade point average.
Okay, so how about this? Quantitatively, give us a good review.
Yeah,
Qualitatively, you can be negative.
Yeah,
but
we'll take
only
negative
through
qualitative
email.
feedback. Yeah.
We're going. If you're listening to the show and you like it, take a screenshot, post it on Instagram, tag us at Asian Not Asian Pod. We love hearing from you guys. Very quickly for our Patreon, we're going to continue doing the thing we've been doing, which is we're going to shout you out, but then we're going to give you a backstory. If you contribute to our Patreon, just go to patreon.com/Asian Not Asian Pod. This person this week is Tommy Chai. Tommy Chai. Ooh, I'm already getting something in my mind here with Tommy Chai.
Seems like a beautiful cartoon character name.
Oh?
You know?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Continue.
Like I feel like because it's like Poppy.
I do like that it's Poppy.
Yeah.
But I think this guy's like a slick pool shark. You know,
okay.
Tommy Chai.
Yeah, it's like, like when he walks into the bar, he walks in slow motion.
Yes.
He like takes off his sunglasses and everyone's
Sick.
like, whoa, Tommy Chai.
He's got a mullet, but he's making it work.
Oh, a slick back mullet?
A slick back mullet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sure.
He's got a tie. You know, his name's Tommy Bones Chai.
Okay.
You know, he's a really good, 8-ball player.
Yeah.
He's got his own cue. Mm-hmm. You can catch him after work because he does have a day job in IT.
Okay.
But Tommy Bones Chai, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I like that.
Pool shark.
Pool shark, yeah.
And if you want to get us to give you a little backstory, just contribute to our Patreon, patreon.com/Asian Not Asian Pod. Let's get into it. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
We got a great guest for you to joining us this week. Gosh, this guy is so Harry. No, this guy. This guy is so funny. He's a writer. He's you got a whole bunch of different things. You're a writer on Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
You're a stand-up comic.
I am a stand-up comic.
You are pretty hairy.
I am. I will say I have a lot of hair on my head, but in terms of body hair, I'm like pretty good about that.
Oh, pretty good about that.
Pretty good means that you're taking care of it.
It means that I don't have to. I have a weird thing where it grows exactly where it needs to grow and nothing more than that.
Okay, stop
What
with your
the
flexing.
hell?
I know.
That's really what you should put on your resume, not the writer thing, but like
That's my credit.
hair where it counts and not where it doesn't. Help me welcome to the podcast, Moss Perircone.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh, yeah.
This is so fun.
Coming.
So happy to be here.
Yeah, dude. Jenny asked, and I think our fans will want to know. And you have a joke about this. Your background. You got you got a face, but then the name is not the matching the face.
Yeah, I'm half Indian and I'm half Sicilian, and
shit.
And so I do look relatively Indian. And I think if you really look, you can pick out the Italian. Like if you put me in a lineup of like Indians, you would spot that there was something a little bit off about me. But something's not right with that one.
Yeah.
But my name is Massimo Perircone, which is an incredibly Italian name.
Yeah.
And it confuses people. It really, I was just at there's a stationery shop near Rockefeller Center called, I actually don't know how to pronounce it. Do you know Pinnieder? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's a stationery shop?
Yeah, it's Pinnieder. Don't know how to say it.
Hell no.
Never heard of it.
No way.
Beautiful stationery. They started in like the 1790s.
Oh, shit.
It's incredible. And they have a shop in Rome that I had been to. And I found out they just opened one here. And so I went. The most Italian place ever, where it's just like this old Italian man working there, beautiful young woman also working there, and it's just them two. And he's calling her beautiful constantly.
Yeah.
I was just there the other day, and he was so confused when he saw my name. He was like, where did you get this name? What's going on? As if I like stole the name from a Italian person.
I will say that knowing you going to an Italian stationery store, is that what it's called? Was it stationery?
Yeah.
So Moss. It's
totally.
You're going there. You're like, I need me a new quill. You know?
Yeah. As I was doing it, I did have the thought of like, this is exactly what I would be doing.
Going to it. I am a big stationery head.
Really?
I love stationery. I love Staples. Just regular old Staples.
What?
Oh yeah.
I loved going to Staples.
I thought you were talking about an actual staple, like
not
in
like
a
the
stapler.
but like the Staples, the store.
Yeah.
And I'm finding, what do they got? What's the new shit from Japan?
Totally.
Oh, totally.
I love like picking out pens.
It's also so nice to have that like September back to school feeling. I feel like just the smell of a Staples like puts me back there.
Yeah,
God,
totally.
We should be bullied.
I know
we
really
just said
should.
we love back to school.
Cut this part out. Yeah.
We like to do this also with our guests. We give you a minute to talk about yourself. Just whatever you want to talk about. You got a minute, but you got to use the whole minute.
To intro yourself,
To
but
intro
you
yourself.
have a minute and you must use a minute.
You must use the whole minute.
Oh, that's so interesting. What kind of stuff do people usually say about
Anything
minutes?
and
Your minute
everything.
start. I'm not going to answer your
not
question.
fantastic.
We don't give you any more
Minute
details.
starts now.
My name is Moss Perircone. I'm a writer and a stand-up. I write for TV and I do stand-up. Currently going through a breakup, which is, is going to come up at some point. And it's so funny. I feel like whenever I do a podcast, I've just gone through a breakup, which is crazy because I haven't gone through that many breakups. I don't know how this keeps happening. If you went and listened to every podcast I was on, you would think that I was living a crazy fucking life, but I'm not. I've had a lot of ups and downs in this relationship specifically, and I feel like at every down period, someone's like, do my podcast. And you could actually, if you go on like wherever you get podcasts, search my name, you could follow the trajectory of the whole relationship from the beginning. That actually might be kind of fun. And yeah, that's everything about me. Did I use the minute?
No. You still
What?
have 10
No,
seconds.
you have to keep
Oh my
going.
gosh! Holy shit!
5 seconds.
And I just got back from India.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's pretty good. Okay, there you go.
Wow, that's so
there we
fun.
go.
That was
A minute is so long.
It's a long time.
It really is.
Yeah, you spiraled faster than
That
most
was-
people.
I know. I really.
It was a cliff. Like it went like into it.
10 seconds in, I was like, I'm so sad.
How was India, real quickly?
Oh my God, it was great. It was so fun. I did it. I usually go for longer. I was there for like, I want to say 10 days,
Oh,
which
okay.
for the flight and the time change is a little rough.
Yeah.
And I was in the Maldives too, so I was really moving around a lot.
Oh, shit.
Just incredible place.
That's amazing, bro.
It's so beautiful. But I did this stupid thing where I got back and I adjusted to the time almost immediately. Like I just planned it well. I slept right on the plane.
Oh, perfect.
Got home, went to bed, slept from like 11 to 7. Like just did it perfectly.
Amazing.
Went out the next night, stayed out till like 8:30.
Oh, fuck.
And then just got right back on India time.
Yeah.
I just
oh, man.
through just doing a lot of drugs, just put myself right back on the other side of the world. It was so stupid.
That's how everyone should get back on time. It's just like, I have to do cocaine.
Yeah.
I got no choice.
It's a healthy choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That.
Real quick, actually, can you push your pop filter closer?
Yeah,
to the mic?
totally.
It's actually
How's this?
A little bit more.
A little more.
Yeah. That's better.
Cool.
Okay, so we see your face.
Yeah, we want to see your face.
Okay. When you go back to India, do you speak the language?
I don't. I wish I did. My mom does. And it's a dialect called Kannada that's spoken in South India where my family's from. But
shit.
yeah, I never learned it. And I just wish I did. And now I think about it, but I don't know. There are so many other languages I want to learn. I want to learn French. I want to learn Italian, you know.
Yeah.
This is a language that I really would only be speaking to my family who speaks English. So I'm like, do I really need to? Yeah.
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 How often do you go back?
I was going back every couple years for a long time, and then this was the first time since the pandemic that I had been back. And actually, me and a girlfriend after college went for a month and just went all over the country.
Oh,
which
that's cool.
was so nice.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I had been back.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay, now we're going to go back and talk about how broken you are.
Yes, please.
Because I saw you, we both did the Feeling Asian Goodbye show, which was so fun.
That was so fun.
That was amazing. Jenny wasn't there, so let's rub it
I
in
know.
her face.
I had so
Jenny.
much FOMO. I was gone. I was in
FOMO.
California that week.
Are you from California?
Yeah.
Where in California?
The Bay Area.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Are
you?
I'm from Southern California.
Oh,
I'm from like
okay.
Huntington Beach area.
You're?
Yeah. Are you?
I am.
Wait, are you from Huntington?
I'm from Orange County.
Oh, wait. That's
I'm
crazy.
from Anaheim Hills.
Oh, my God. I went to school in Santa Ana. I went to...
Oh, you went to Santa?
Yeah, I went to OSHA.
You went to OSHA.
Yeah.
School of Arts or whatever the fuck it is.
School of Arts.
When you're at a school of arts like that, is it like High School Musical situation?
Totally.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
Really?
Everyone should go to high school at a high school like that. It's the best place in the world.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's so... Because everyone's like... I mean, there was this really fun thing where it's like you go to school from 8 to 1 and you just do your normal classes. Then you have an hour break. And from 2 to 5, you have classes based on whatever you auditioned for. And so, like... Feels like a normal school.
Auditioned for?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You audition.
What did you do?
I was in the film program. That was back
Okay.
when I was like, I thought I wanted to do film stuff. I didn't know. I just wanted to write. But it was really interesting where it looked like a normal school. And then after 3 o'clock, it just changed where suddenly everyone has like a cello or is like dressed up for like ballet folklorico or like it was amazing.
What were we doing?
We were fucking
Yeah,
doing
I thought I
AP
was. I guess.
calculus.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna go to fucking law school. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Idiots.
Oh yeah.
We're stupid.
We're so stupid.
Okay.
Go back, do it now.
Okay, let's go back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna invent a time machine and I'm gonna do a lot of science.
I'm just gonna go there and just be like, "Hello, fellow kids."
Yeah, you can do it.
People won't notice.
carry a cello.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did this Feeling Asian show, and we, you know, it's always great to see you. I'm like, hey, how's it going? You're so funny, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know how it is. Maybe you just started saying, I'm going through a breakup.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, and I remember you were like thinking about texting this person.
Yeah.
And I talked you out of doing it.
Oh, that's so funny. You put me off for about 1.5 weeks.
Okay.
You delayed it.
That's pretty good though.
Pretty good, I know.
Hey,
That's
like
pretty
community
good.
service.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just because I was feeling very emotional just from the party, right?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, and young me and Brian
Yeah.
were saying all these nice things, and there was all this community, and you were feeling. I as someone not even in the game was feeling all sorts of like feelings.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could see where, and I don't know if you had a couple drinks, you too, but I could see where if you were there, that's the kind of place where you're like, I've got to go after her, man, you know?
Yeah.
And I just was like, hey, maybe just wait a second because you're like intoxicated by all the positive vibes that are happening
Totally.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point. That I think it had been building for a minute, and then being there, having a couple of drinks, being around a lot of people. Also, my grandma was staying with me that
Oh
week.
my God, we met
she
your
was,
grandma.
Yeah, she was on the show.
What did she think?
She had a great time. I mean, it gave her a warped idea of what stand-up comedy is.
She's like, this is amazing. Stand-up comedy is the best.
Yeah.
Everybody's so nice.
Everyone's nice. Everyone is Asian, and it's standing room only. Like,
Yeah,
it really was insane. Really fun show. That was such a fun night.
So, I guess we need to hear some backstory.
Yeah.
I mean, that would help me.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because I don't know what's going on here. And
What
Jenny,
you're comfortable with sharing.
whatever you're comfortable with sharing, which
for sure.
should be everything.
It is.
And, Jenny is our course resident dating expert.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh, my God.
I just talk about it.
Well, I would say, I guess, more like dating graduate student. She's going through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you in a relationship now?
No, but I'm like, I talk about dating so much, or like how much I want to find a person on this podcast every time.
It's so hard when you want to find a person.
Yes.
That's when it gets impossible.
And then everyone's like, don't look, what happened when you're not looking for it? And I'm like, so how do I like pretend like I'm not looking? You know?
Totally. Yeah.
Just stand in a corner? Okay.
I don't know if you do this. I feel like I go on so many dates when I'm like, the 5 minutes before I'm like, please sweep me off my feet. Like, please be so exciting. And it's just like, it's so rare,
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a very optimistic outlook.
That is very...
I don't even think that. Like, please don't be horrible.
Oh, yeah.
And don't murder me.
Yeah, that's the difference between the male.
Totally.
You're like, oh my gosh, I really hope she's really beautiful.
Yeah. Like, I hope I don't get murdered tonight.
I hope I don't get stabbed, is what women think. So, yeah, give us a little lowdown here.
Yeah, I mean, we had been dating for about 2 years. We used to work together. We met that way. And
That's nice.
And we just, she was dating someone else at the time. I was dating someone else at the time. And we just we kept getting paired up to write episodes of the show together. And so we spent
shit. Okay.
Yeah. And so we just were spending so much time together.
Whoa.
And it was so fun. It was such a fun courtship over years. And then the pandemic happened and she lived very close to me. And so we would just we just started taking walks every day because we're like, oh, you're the only person I have to see. At this point, I was like, it's been 2 years of feeling this way. I can't say anything. And I usually am fine. I feel like I don't really feel a lot of fear in that situation. And this one, I was like, I have no idea what to do.
Wait, so you weren't dating or anything?
I was. It was towards that.
You two weren't dating.
Oh no, we were not dating at all.
But
no.
you had feelings.
We had feelings. She was dating someone. I was dating someone.
Okay.
And those things kind of ended. And then after months, I was like, hey, this is how I feel about you. And she was like, I can't believe we're having this conversation. And we talked about it.
Whoa.
And
hold on here. Totally. I'm sorry.
I'm skipping around.
Set the tone. Where did you do this?
Okay.
Big feelings thing. Because that's.
We did it at this bar that I go to all the time called Petite Paulette in Fort Greene. It's this really nice wine bar in the park.
God, you're such a fancy bitch.
Yeah, so
I'm just really bad with money.
Okay, so yeah, sorry.
So I mean, I go there for everything. I go there to just read and work a lot. I go on dates there. It's just a nice it's not even that close to my apartment. It's like a 15-minute walk. It's just nice. It's a good vibe. They have good wine. So we went there. We had been going there a lot. I was walking her home and I was like, I just have to do it. This is it. And it was building up so much.
Wow.
And this is after weeks of having these moments where I just have to do it. And then I don't. And then I couldn't have another night like that where I didn't say anything. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta wait till the next day. Oh, it was brutal. So I said it and, we sat down on a bench and we talked for 3 hours and it just kept coming back to the same thing, which is that she felt the same way, but it was just too complicated. The other thing is that the guy that she was dating had been dating for a long time, was also a really good friend of ours and worked with us. So, and at that point that had ended, but it was just very complicated. We had the same network of people.
Was he just a writer? He's a writer too?
Yeah. Okay. And so we just came back to that, which is that she just can't do it. It's too complicated. Sure. And I was kind of I think if you just trust me and just go with it and just let go of any inhibition that you have, I think after a couple weeks, you'll forget about all that.
That was your pitch to her?
That was my pitch. I knew how well we were hanging out. I was like, this is not that common. And she's by nature kind of apprehensive. And so I was like, I know you're like that. Just kind of give it up and go with it. I think it'll be really good.
You just fucking Aladdined her, dude. Just do you trust me? Get on this fucking magic carpet with me, girl.
That was basically it. Yeah.
We're in China now. That was your okay. That's ballsy. I feel.
I mean, I just felt that was right. I was like, I just think this is right, and I think I'll be proven right if you just go with it.
Wow.
And she was like, no, I don't think so. and we were like, okay, then we probably shouldn't hang out every day like this anymore.
That's hard.
So we didn't talk for like 5 months.
Yeah.
And I just knew, I was like, I didn't know if she was going to come back or not. But I was like, I know at some point she'll realize that I was right. And I didn't think she would come back. But she texted me like 5 months later and was like, hey, let's get a drink and catch up. And we went back to that same bar, that wine bar. And she was like, hey, you were right. I was wrong. We should try this. And and she was like, do you want to think about it? I was like, no, I don't want to think about it. I know.
We're
let's
good.
just do this.
Wow.
And then we dated for 2 years.
Oh my God.
Okay,
So,
but that's the beginning.
Okay,
That's the beginning. Yeah.
So it was, that was good.
And then I've always felt, I don't know, I never really saw myself. I always, I look into the future and I imagine myself with kids at some point, married, but like when you put a timeline on that, it's hard to think about, you know?
Yeah, of course.
And she knows exactly what she wants. She's very, very good about that.
Can I ask, I hope this is okay to ask.
Yeah.
Is she much older than you?
A little bit older, yeah.
Okay.
And so we're just in different places.
Sure.
That had come up a couple times. It came up in August, and it was clear that we wanted different things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's a huge thing. That's so important.
Right.
But we were both enjoying the relationship, and I was basically like, hey, I'm not going to break up with you. This is going so well. Whenever you feel like this has gone on for too long and it's just too much pressure, then you've just got to end it.
Yeah.
And so we stayed in there for another 6 months, and then it came to a point where it's like, we got to end this.
Is it so she wanted to have a little bit, I don't know, the path, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She wanted to at least talk about it, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
I did it.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's hard.
Yeah, that's hard.
It was hard.
Because you did like her, and you did, you know, you wanted, I guess it wasn't like, I feel, you talk about how young you are in your stand-up and stuff like that. And I remember being your age and, a lot of dudes, I think, just want to go out and experience shit, you know what I'm saying? But it sounded like you were cool with the relationship. Maybe not quite ready for the next step.
Yeah.
But you were definitely like, I'm not interested in seeing other people.
Yeah, I definitely felt that way. That's exactly how I felt, is that I was good in the relationship, and if every day was just like the last day, I imagine it would have gone on forever, but talking about it in that way just didn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've been broken up a month. I'm in India, and I'm like, oh, this is the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life.
God.
What am I thinking?
Whoa.
And I don't know. My thought was like, I had always imagined my life would go a certain way, and it wasn't that I would meet the person that I would be with forever in my 20s. That seemed insane to me. I respect people who do that.
Yeah. Just didn't think that was how it is for you.
And then I had the thought of like, well, this was so good. Why would I like stand by something that I imagined for myself over something that's in front of me and it is great? I would be such a fool to do that. And I don't know, being in India, being around my family, I just like, I had all these feelings where I was like, oh, I do, I should have done that. So of course sent the text of like, hey, how are you doing?
Shit.
I know. It was
From India?
From India.
Oh my God.
She was home too, or not home. She was with her family too in Argentina, and so we were both kind of.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is such a cool movie.
I know.
Seriously.
Right? It's like multi. I mean,
It's a very expensive movie.
Very
a lot of
expensive movie.
locations.
We're not shooting on location.
Yeah.
No, all this is going to be done in New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
But we can dress it up to look like Argentina.
Totally.
Wow. Okay. So when was that?
That was over the holidays. Yeah, that must have been like the 15th or 16th.
Oh, so just now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Okay, hold on.
This is so recent.
And
Let's pause.
yeah.
What are your thoughts right now? Commentate.
I think it's fascinating that it seems like it's predicated on your vision of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it's like, oh, well, like, I'm young and I didn't see this for myself at this age. I think a lot of dudes are like that.
Yeah. And dudes, don't be like that.
Yeah.
Don't. Give it up.
But I think it's just fascinating.
I understand what it is, and I think it's compounded from being in New York too, because there's so much, I don't know, you can think of this however you want, opportunity for other things, right? And I think there's something, about, I always kind of joke that when you live in New York as a dude, you get like -5 in your years.
Yeah.
Because like if
sure.
you know what I'm saying? If you're 30, you're really kind of like a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
And if you're, 40, you're really like a 35-year-old.
Totally.
So, and really, honestly, there's no upper limit for how long you can be just a single fuckboy.
Yeah.
You could be like
It
a
can last
55-year-old
forever.
dude
Oh,
with like a silk scarf DJing, and it's totally fine.
Totally.
So there is that as well.
But that's nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that
That's
guy.
a dystopian.
I was like, I don't know if it's totally fine, but it does happen.
It does happen.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
and
thing.
doing stand-up, you
society
guys-
lets it happen.
Yeah,
you see it all the time.
Yeah. So, okay. So that just, you sent the text.
Yeah.
How did it go?
It went good. We started talking, and then pretty soon we were talking pretty constantly. And I was like, "Hey, I have some things that I feel like I should say, and I'll regret them if I don't say them. So let's get a drink when we're back." And then we kept talking. Got a drink on, I want to say Wednesday or Tuesday of this week.
I'm gonna look at the
We're
calendar.
really- yeah.
According to this calendar, that was only 4 days ago.
Yes.
Wednesday is before Saturday.
Yeah.
So wow.
No, this is super recent. And yeah, I basically said all that stuff. And she was unsure about it. And then, we spent some time together, and then yesterday decided that probably not for the best.
Really?
And that was the end of it.
Wait, together you decided this?
I mean, no. We were physically together when we decided
right.
it, but it was mostly her decision.
She decided.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Which is, I think, the right decision.
Are you sure?
No.
Mike, I'm gonna kill you. You don't say that right now. Okay, here's my advice.
Yeah, please.
I think that this is my advice to a lot of people who are like talking about like relationship stuff. I'm like, what do you want? Like, what is your number one want in this? Like, it seems like, because it kind of goes back and forth. Like, concretely, like, I don't know if I want to, plan too far ahead, but that's what she wants. But like, you have to kind of decide what the priority is.
Totally.
And I think that's like, it ends up falling on the other person who is very clear on what their priorities are.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
think
that's such a good point. That's
yeah,
such a
so
good
like
way to
for
put
her,
it.
it's like she knows what her priorities are at this point. So then it's like, well, then if you can't align on the priorities, then we just got to stop.
Totally.
And I think like a lot of people just don't know individually what their priorities are, and they're like, because you want everything. You want want like exactly what you want, and if it doesn't happen, you have to like prioritize.
Yeah.
So like for her, it's a decision because she knows.
Absolutely. And I was totally on board. I just saw it as these are two ways my life can go.
Yeah.
We can live like that, or we cannot do this, and my life will kind of continue along the path that it's going. But I got to a point where I was like willing to shift paths, just because I realized that everything we did together was so fun that like,
Whoa.
everything would be fun. And then I got excited about doing all those things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just realized it too late. But I also, I'm obviously caught up in the emotions of it. I think thinking about it more reasonably, there are issues with that. I love the big issues. I just like doing things alone. I always have. I travel alone constantly.
Sure. Yeah.
I go to dinner alone, and I that's tough to give up. And I think when you don't have a choice of doing things alone, it starts to feel less good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I felt very much going into it, whatever happens will be the right decision. Like life will be good no matter what for both of us.
Yeah.
Like we're, and we'll be friends in like 6 months or a year or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
So that was still the central issue. Is that what she was sort of saying? Is that like the central issue?
No, she had gotten to a point where this time apart had kind of given her more doubts of like, well, I don't know if this is forever now.
Yeah.
And I kind of made the same pitch of like, just give
Get
in,
on the magic carpet with me.
2 weeks, I promise your doubts will go away. But she was like, we can't keep
doing
no,
it.
yeah. And
Wow.
she's probably right.
Wow.
But
How
yeah.
are you okay?
Yeah,
I
how
think
are
I'm
you
okay.
feeling?
I've learned that it takes me a week to feel anything, so I feel
Yeah.
great right now.
Okay. So we should have scheduled you for next week.
Oh yeah, have me back on. It'll be way different.
You have a shaved head.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have all these tattoos on your neck.
Smoking cigarettes inside.
Yeah. Listen, I'm more of a punk guy now. Whoa.
No, but I think I'll feel good about it. I think this will be the right thing. I'm just like excited about. I don't know, because the first time it ended, I had just gone into like chaos mode, which like I feel like you get too old to do, and it wasn't fun, and I was just like drinking a ton and like going out too much, and I feel like now I feel very resolved to like just, work and sleep and focus on like exercise and eating well and just like, I feel healthier about it this time.
Wow, you're so mature.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
I'm a
you
fool.
are. No, because for sure I would have gone into, as the kids call it, goblin mode. Right? And I just continue goblin mode until I feel I have a lot of self-destructive habits that I've left behind.
Yeah.
But I used to be very like, if I was going through a breakup or something, I would feel like I don't deserve a lot of things. I'm just going to ruin my life.
Totally.
I would just go out and just be an asshole.
Yeah.
And it took a long time for me to go, it's harder to not do that. It's easy to go goblin mode and just be like, nothing matters. It's harder to be like, I'm going to give myself a chance because that's kind of, you don't know if what's going to work out.
Totally.
You know? So I feel it's good of you for you to kind of understand that maybe it's the healthy ways the way to go. But then again, it's only Saturday, so maybe
I know.
Wednesday.
The conversation will be very different
next week,
on Wednesday.
Goblin Week.
Goblin week.
Goblin mode is only a Band-Aid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Only a Band-Aid.
It
It's gonna hit later, regardless.
That's such a good point. And it doesn't even feel that good. You do it, you can do it 3 or 4
that's the whole
times.
thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It just is so that you feel something else.
Yeah.
Rather than,
Totally. Yeah.
Distract yourself.
distract yourself.
And you get to an age when it's like, you feel silly. You're like, am I doing this? I look like an idiot. Like, I'm staying places too late. Like, to get into your late 20s and to be the last person at a party where people are like 24 or 23, you're like, what? This is not the kind of person that I am. It's disgusting.
That's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay? Maybe even being a mid-30s guy or 40s maybe, and just hanging out with a whole bunch of cool people in the corner while and eating
Yeah, that's
pop
cool
chips.
as hell.
Yeah,
Cool
that's
as
great.
fuck,
Yeah.
guys. I have a child. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, Jenny.
Yeah, Mike.
Don't you wish that life had a user's manual?
That's every day of my life, Mike. I'm type A as hell.
I wish that life had a user's manual because then you could use the user's manual to figure out what to do with your life and help you solve problems. Unfortunately, life doesn't have a user's manual, but BetterHelp Online Therapy is basically the next best thing. That's because therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions to help you learn productive coping skills. That makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you.
If you're a listener, you know that I am literally the biggest fan of therapy. Therapy has helped me immensely. It's helped me understand how I think and has allowed me to live more authentically as me out in the world.
As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Asian. That's betterhelp.com/Asian. Hey Asian friends, I want to talk to you real quick about a product I use literally all the time, Athletic Greens. I've been using Athletic Greens for years. I've gotten friends and podcast guests into it, and I want to try to get you to try it out. I started taking it because I wanted a quick, easy way to get more energy, to improve my gut health, and to support my immune system. With every delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. I legit think it tastes pretty good, and it's so easy to do. It's just 1 scoop and a glass of water, and you're ready to go. Athletic Greens supports better sleep quality and recovery, and it costs less than $3 a day. Plus, Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. That's a lot of reviews. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially headed into the flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/AsianNotAsian. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/AsianNotAsian to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Graduate student Jenny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I say goblin mode is only a Band-Aid. So hopefully that it's okay to be sad, but let yourself be sad and just feel the sadness.
Yeah.
I think communication makes it so much harder to move forward.
Totally.
So maybe this time for sure, work on that and build relationships with your other support systems.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm always I think it's important to have a lot of, I think the people who tend to which I do this too, when you're in it, it's hard to separate yourself because it's feelings. So you just you're oh, this person's so great. But I think making sure you have your other relationships be really strong. So then you have people to go to and don't feel so reliant on this person.
Totally. That's such a good point. I also feel I feel very much like it's good to be friends with your exes. I think it says it's and I am with, I think, all of them. But I do think it's important, and I should have done this the first time. I think you do need 30 days of just completely blocking them.
Totally.
You just can't see their face in any capacity, even just watching your Instagram stories, to see their little face in the circle.
No. You have to do a full separation. I would say for more than 30 days, personally, because I just need time.
Yeah.
You need a detox.
And then you need a detox. You need to do a juice cleanse.
Doing that this time, but because I don't want to look like because it feels so vindictive for someone that you love.
Right, it does feel like you're cutting them out or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think you can even make that, say that out loud and be transparent. Be I'm not blocking you because I just need a second to regroup. I think that's fair.
Yeah, totally.
Across the board.
Yeah, because I don't like when people, get out of relationships and then for years they're pretending like the person doesn't exist. That's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I think, for a month or two, it's to get over it properly.
Totally.
I think that's why people keep getting in these cycles of getting back into relationships is just the social media of it.
Yes.
I imagine it was so much easier when you 50
don't
years ago.
when you have to call somebody on
yeah,
a rotary phone.
totally, and their face isn't everywhere on your phone. It's just I gotta delete photos too. The memories keep coming up on my phone.
Oh, the memories.
Yeah.
Fucking Apple.
Brutal.
Apple's trying to get you back together. And it plays that stupid song. What song is this?
Yeah.
And then it does the weird slow pan. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Oh, totally.
Oh, here's us in Italy, slow pan.
Yeah, exactly.
We're feeding each other pizza, slow pan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Well, thank you for being so honest.
No, oh my God. Thank you for having me. This is great.
I have a thought. This is
please.
we're gonna get meta. We're
All
gonna
right.
step back for a second. Should we become a relationship podcast?
No,
Yes.
because it's horrible.
Why?
I don't think either of us are equipped.
So?
Okay. Yeah. If we're just confident, I guess.
It's not even that. I would definitely say, we just bring our perspectives.
Oh, yeah.
Me, I'm a former 2-time Hall of Famer, Mike DeWin. Now I'm retired and I can do. I'm the Madden.
I didn't know you were
relationships.
two-time Hall of Famer.
In my own mind. So I can be the John Madden.
Yes.
I'm out the game.
Yeah.
But I've got perspective.
But you have perspective, yeah.
You're still, you're the journeyman. You're in the game still.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing.
Yeah. I'm an older player who is kind of still actively working but is benched a lot.
Yeah, you hurt. You got the hamstring rupture. And Moss is the he's the hot new wide receiver.
Yeah, totally.
He's his third year with the Eagles.
Yeah.
And he just recently
Very sad to be back in the game. Still playing his best.
Well, we'll have you back in order to talk about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're willing to, if you haven't become a punk rock guy,
you could be on it as a punk rock guy too.
I mean, you could be. That would be tight.
That would
be really
awesome.
fun. Yeah.
Moss. I mean, I'm sorry. You no longer use Moss. Your new name is Burner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm whatever that Patreon guy, Tommy Chai or whatever.
Yeah, Tommy Chai. Yeah.
Tommy Chai.
Yeah. They get into a knife fight.
Yeah.
I love it. You're very funny.
Oh, thank you.
And you're a writer. I can't believe. Sometimes I look at you and I'm like, I wish I should have just gone to OSHA. I realize
I know.
We were just talking on another episode how we went to whatever a good college and shit. But when I was there, I never felt like I was this is for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
I mean, I had a good time and I learned a lot. And I'm grateful for that. And I like the rigor of it. I guess it was challenging, but I never was yes, this is totally what I'm going to do now because there were creative people there for sure, but it wasn't you can major in whatever. There was not a creative writing major. The closest was English.
Totally.
And as I understood it, English majors
It was very different.
Yeah, like you read a lot of Chaucer.
Very,
I was like,
yeah.
what the fuck does this have to do with like writing jokes? There was, we had like we had an equivalent of whatever Harvard has, like the Lampoon. We had something like that. But it was like
it was not that great.
Did you guys go to school together? Were you at the same school?
We went to the same school, but not at the same time.
Oh, totally.
I'm way older.
What school did you guys go to?
Went to Cal. Went to Berkeley.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And anyways, so we just bottom line, I just like never felt like I knew where to go, but I felt maybe if I had been with the people I'm supposed to be with, I too could be a cool young writer. You know what I'm saying?
But you're so cool. And
No,
you're,
I'm not.
you're so, oh my God. Everyone thinks you're cool.
He's wearing a sweater vest.
You're the best dressed person on every show we do.
He's wearing a
thank you.
sweater vest over a sweatshirt. Have you even heard of that before?
But I also want to be a successful, I want to write. I think it would be cool to do that.
Totally.
But I've just never like have worked those skills. But you've been, you're staffed on shows and stuff like that. I don't even know where to start with that kind of line of questioning. I mean, did you work on this since you were like in high school? Like, I guess you obviously went to a kind of an art school.
Yeah. I mean, my dad is a big comedy fan. And so I think that's kind of where it started is he got me into stuff very early. Just showed me the right things, the right movies, music, TV shows. And I think just having that from a young age, like, it was just super helpful, kind of put me on the path that I thought I wanted to go down. And then it was just like a kind of narrowing and like a whittling down of starting out and being like, I think I want to direct movies just because, you're 12 years old and that seems really cool. And then like going to OSHA made me quickly realize, no, I don't. I don't like being around equipment. I don't like being on set. I think I just like to write, and then whittling that down more and more until it's like, oh, I want to write these specific things. I think finding that pretty early got me to a point where when I went to college, I was able to start stand-up like the first week of college because I was like, I know this is exactly what I want to do. And
Amazing.
I like,
wow.
Yeah. And it's been, it's crazy. It's been almost 10 years now.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to NYU.
Oh, okay. Right. That's amazing. So then obviously you're right here and you can start doing stand-up.
Oh,
right away.
I went to the Laughing Buddha first week of college.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was so funny.
That's great.
But then, you spend years being like, I guess this is what stand-up comedy is. It's these Manhattan open mics on McDougal Street. It was years before I realized that there were like other young people doing it, people who were closer to my sensibility.
Yeah, sure.
So I think having just a dad with good taste was the most important thing in the world.
My dad has terrible taste.
I know. I watched a lot of Austin Powers.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
And Shrek.
Yes, that's right.
Did we talk about this recently? I think I called myself a Shrek and Austin Powers family.
You are 100% the overlap of those two things. You're right in the
It's Mike Myers. It's just Mike Myers.
It's Mike Myers.
Yeah, it's just Mike Myers.
Wow, that's cool.
Wow.
We have a question from one of our Patreon subscribers.
Totally.
And this is something you can do if you go to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod. We're trying to kind of incorporate the fan base a little bit more. Judy asks, I'd love to hear more about how a writer's room works. And how many writers are there? Does everyone pitch their ideas to the rest of the team and then they vote on which jokes make it in or not, etc.? I'm also curious. I kind of have an idea of how it works. I'm not exactly sure. And I'm sure, things sort of can change depending on what kind of show and who's running it.
For sure.
But I would love to hear, just like a basic rundown of like, what the fuck happens?
Yeah. No, that's such a good question. I mean, it totally depends on the show. Like I started in late night and that is its own process completely where it's just like, and I think that's the number of late night shows is dwindling, but that I feel like is the best place to start because you're really just writing 100 jokes a day and you kind of dispel the idea that there's any magic to writing and realize it's more of a thing of like, if I sit down from 9 to 5, I will leave today with 100 things written.
Yeah.
And I think realizing that immediately is the most helpful thing to do.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, yeah. Just because, you have this idea that like there's some spark or some inspiration.
Right, some magic. You're
Totally.
sitting there like smoking and all of a sudden comes to you.
Yeah. And it's just ridiculous. It really is just the work of it. So late night is great for just like learning how to just churn out jokes. So I did that for a couple years and that show was the running of that show is based on the way Last Week Tonight works, which is just writing, like a couple people write their drafts of an episode and then you get notes on it from the head writer and the showrunner, and then you work together and kind of combine your drafts into one draft, and you kind of shepherd that draft through production.
And this was Patriot Act.
This is Patriot Act.
That's amazing.
And it was super fun, and it was a great experience. And then I had always kind of wanted to do narrative shows. And so I left Patriot Act and started working on the Beavis and Butthead reboot. And that show was run very differently. That was like it was over Zoom, but it's like a more conventional writer's room of like, you know, you meet every day for these hours and you just kind of like let the showrunner guides the conversation and you just pitch around whatever they want to pitch on that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just riffing off the top of your head, like
wow,
they'll
really?
come in with some ideas. Yeah, and I was really nervous to do that. I had never really done that before, and it was really scary. I had a really good time on that show, but for the first couple months, I was going out of my mind. I was so freaked out.
Yeah.
I mean, over Zoom too, because you're like, oh shit, I just said something fun, but I was on mute or whatever.
Oh yeah.
or I wasn't on mute and everyone's just ignoring me.
Oh totally. Yeah. I've gotten used to. I've worked on a couple Zoom shows now, and I've gotten used to like the Zoom pitching, but pitching into the void like that. I mean, nobody laughs.
Yeah.
Even on a solid thing.
Yeah.
You rarely get anything.
Right.
Which I feel like stand-up helps with a lot because it takes you back to those like laughing Buddha mics where you're just telling jokes into the darkness.
Yeah. Sometimes the host goes, ha!
Yeah.
You're like, wow, that was bad.
Yeah.
But everything I've worked on is pretty much, I mean, it really, I feel like the discerning factor is just the personality of the showrunner.
Yeah.
It's all kind of fluctuated based on that. Besides that, there's no real structure. It is like, I mean, usually you'll spend the first couple weeks just like blue sky pitching, just anything. And like the room will kind of guide the conversation and then stuff will start getting put on note cards. And then a more structured day happens where it's like, all right, we need to figure out what happens in this episode. Beavis and Butthead was like relatively simple. I think there's a lot of like genius to that show in terms of like these two characters have access to nothing.
Yeah. So it's just the two of them, really.
Just the two of them. They can't really read. They can't go anywhere.
They don't have a car. Right?
They don't have a car. Oh yeah, they don't have a car.
That's actually a huge element of the show is that they're always walking around doing stuff, which I mean, you were probably like a sperm when the first one came out, but like the original one, I would watch it and I was like Beavis and Butthead's age when Beavis and Butthead, the original one came out. I was like, it was hard to, I mean, it was really good, but it was hard to watch because I was like, this is like you watch MTV, which is what they do, and you just like think about how to make $1. That's like entirely what like my life was as like a 15-year-old. I was like, I guess I do that, and you have no idea how to do it, and you don't have a car, you don't have anything, you know. It's anyways. Yeah.
Totally.
It is very challenging. I would imagine that is freeing and challenging because it's just the two of them.
Totally. It took me a couple months to figure out that like the way to pitch those episodes is just to think of an object and be like, what can I do?
Yes.
How can I get an episode out of them if they finding a brick? What can they do with a brick? And then write like 15 minutes about that. And once I kind of figured that out, it was the most fun thing in the world. Just like, because then you're just like, okay, shovel. I was like, hey, what's a shovel episode?
You know, it's so funny because now you say that, I do see like, oh, they would probably try to dig up something, but then find something stupid and then try to sell it or something like that. Yeah.
It's so fun. Even now, like, I'm like, fuck, I want to, that's one of the shows I miss most writing. Because these ideas will come into your head and you're like, well, that can't be anything other than a Beavis and Butthead episode.
So when you say write, I mean, are you writing, you're like writing dialogue, or are you just writing like, here's like a idea and then some events that would happen and like that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, on that show, it worked in a very specific way because the episodes are shorter. So like we would have the room for a while, and then at a certain point, the room kind of broke, and we would just like pitch ideas to the showrunner, and like he would pick which ones he wanted and then send you off to write them, and then you would do drafts with him. But on a show like, I was just on the show the other two, and that was a way more conventional room where like typically you won't do any writing, or you'll write one episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You'll just pitch in the room, and then episodes will get assigned out. And there's like a hierarchy in the room of like staff writer is the lowest, and there's story editors, executive story editors, co-producers, producers. Usually staff writers don't get an episode. I mean, it just depends on who the showrunner is and who they want to give episodes to, and like, but that hierarchy can either come into play or not come into play. And you kind of just with every show move up that ladder until you get to a point where it's like in your contract you're guaranteed to write one episode.
So if you're not writing an episode, what do you kind of just like vibing?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think like what
Totally.
what is the actual labor?
I mean, you're just pitching in the room constantly, and then once it's time for like episode 2 to get written, that person will leave the room to go write it, but you'll stay in the room.
You're staying
and, like,
in the room. I see.
Yeah, and then they'll bring it back in, and you'll pitch different jokes, pitch on notes, but a lot of it for the first couple of shows is really just like talking, just pitching and talking, and
I could do that.
Yeah, I love to do that part of it.
Talk.
the thing is, anyone can do it. It is a job.
I feel. Okay.
Absolutely. Once you get into the room, I mean, everyone's great and everyone's so talented, but there's no. I truly believe that the ratio of funny people to unfunny people in writers' rooms is the same as at any other
anywhere
job.
else. Yeah, okay, I could see that.
Totally. You know.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's two distinct two distinct strengths. To like be able to like talk well and write well is also like two separate strengths, I feel.
Yeah,
some
for
people
sure.
who like aren't that funny talking are really funny writing.
Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
So, like that's also two different things.
Yeah, and I always worried because I was like, I think I'm nervous in new situations and like I just like I thought that would trip me up so badly, and it did, and I got very nervous at first, but I feel like it's just like cultivating, seeing what the job is and then just cultivating yourself to it and realizing where you need to improve and then just improving at those things. But anyway, truly, anyone can do it.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
There's so many note cards. What are on them? So, like, whenever I see a show about
A show.
a show.
Yeah.
30 Rock, yeah.
Yeah, and they're standing there like they're arguing about what are we gonna get for lunch, and then there's like all these like colored note cards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, boy, I should really know what is on those things if I ever get one of these jobs. I have no idea. I'm like, they're how are people so organized? I would just like write it all in like one messy Word doc. It's just like a long Word doc. But
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what ends up happening with the note cards. It's just anything, at first, in my experience, like any idea that feels like it has staying power gets put on one and then it becomes a mess and then you start to cull. And then once you get into like actually breaking episodes, then you can like put up episode 1 and put up act 1 and then put up all the scenes in act 1, differentiate, ABC stories by color. Sometimes you use it to just track a character over the season. It's just nice for the ease of being able to move modules around.
I see.
But everyone does it differently. When I'm working on like, if I'm doing a movie or doing something on my own, I have a very specific way of doing it, where I'll go back to note cards. Like I'll switch back and forth between a doc and note cards, and then I'll like type up the note cards, put it in a doc, use everything that a doc is good for, do that, put it back on note cards, and just go back and forth, which is like, but I feel like everyone has their own like idiosyncratic note card process.
Their own system.
I have no process. Go ahead. Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I have nothing to say other than the other two. One of my favorite shows on the air right now.
They're so good at making that show. It's crazy.
Like literally, but I told you that before.
Yes.
I'm a big Chris Kelly, Sarah Schneider fan. So
they're the best people in the world.
they're so funny.
They're so funny.
I will argue to the death that this one season they were head writer on SNL was the best season of SNL in recent history.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And if Colin Jost and Michael J hear this, I'm so sorry.
No, Chris and Sarah are the smartest writers in the world.
Yeah,
it's
they're
crazy.
incredible.
They're so good.
Writers.
I'm so excited to see this next season. I think it'll
Me
be so
too.
fun.
Wow. Well, we don't have you for very much longer.
Oh no.
One thing, I guess I would.
This is so fun, by the way. This is the best time. I want this to go on forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm
this
so
is
glad.
great.
I guess like for me, I'm trying to work on my writing. I've never been staffed on stuff. I think I would like to. I've been in rooms where we like talk about like my friend writes an episode and we're sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is just like English class where we just talk about feelings and themes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I would be okay at this. And so I guess, I'm trying to write a pilot just on my own. I just feel like it would be a fun story to write. And I'm like learning and I'm going to take a class and all these things. And the mechanics of it, I think, have been really interesting because to your point, having a process makes it easier because otherwise you're like, I have an idea about this guy and he's going to save the world. And it's like such a crazy, you have no idea where to go with, you just have like a thing.
Totally.
Right. And the process forces you to kind of just break it down. So you're like, okay, well, if he wants this, then what's his first step? Whatever,
Yeah.
But like, I'm going through it. I guess, is there any advice for a new writer who's way older than you, but is like interested in doing this?
Very well dressed.
Very well dressed. No one in particular. Loves glasses. Amazing lover. And is there anything you would want to say to this guy sitting across from you? But not me.
No, 100%. I mean,
me.
It's I think the key, I always, I think this is the key thing. I mean, you gotta have a pilot because that's what they read to like staff people. And I think the key that it took me forever to figure this out. And I think it was the best thing I've ever figured out, which is that you gotta understand that they're reading so many pilots. They're reading so much. If you could write the most readable pilot in the world, you're ahead of everybody. A lot of white space on the page. simplify the plot as much as you possibly can, and just write really good jokes. If they can read your pilot in 12 minutes,
got it.
Yeah.
You're so fucking set. That's all. I don't think I'm sure most things do not get read past the first page.
Yeah.
It's just they're hard to read.
I totally hear
they
you.
look bad to the eye. Like, just make it look good aesthetically. Make it so they can, not a lot of characters. Something you could just get very easily. You know, that'll really. I think that. I mean, I wrote this one pilot that I loved. I really put so much into it. I thought I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done. It was so good. It was fucking insane. It had so many characters. It was so complicated. A ton of ideas. Yeah. And then it was so heartbreaking, and I learned from that. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fuck this. I'm just gonna write the simplest thing possible. That was that was maybe 7 years ago now. That's the only script I've ever used to get a job for 7 years. And so if you just write a script like that, it can literally employ you for decades. Just write one and you're set.
That's amazing.
Or not set, but it's just it's so worth putting the work into making something super simple and structurally sound, because it'll because at the time I was like, these are not the kinds of things I want to write. I like big, complicated, messy things.
Everybody wants that. That's how you get excited about the job, because you watched what the fuck, Blade Runner, and you're like, oh, this is amazing, so heady, so crazy.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you can just force yourself to, and it's so hard to do, but just put that aside for a month and just write something super simple, then you will be able to afford yourself years of doing crazy, fun things that you like.
I hear you. Well, I'm going to throw away the one I have, because right away there's a demon in it. So, yeah, any comments, Jenny?
No. I think that's good.
I do like that.
I mean, if you read enough pilots, you're like, those are the ones that stick. That you're like, oh, I know who this person is.
Totally.
I can follow. There's only a handful of names in here.
Well, you watch a lot. I've been trying to watch a lot of shows, and the shows that are really good, the first time you see a character, you should understand exactly what this character's thing is.
Yeah.
And I think visually that's difficult to do, and then writing, you have to write the character the right way, but the director has to do it the right way, the actor has to do it the right way, so it's readable. Right? In your words, right?
Totally.
And I think that's true for a lot of, creative things. It's, with fashion, it's almost people see me wearing a lot of layers, but I would always say, if you want to be fashionable, just wear black. That's it. Just wear black. Make it simple. Nice, simple things are really hard to do and really hard to curate. I'm letting you know, because when you become a punk guy, it'll be important for you to just pick simple black outfits.
Totally.
Simple,
This will be good, yes.
Yeah, you can get vomit on it, it's fine.
Even off that, the other thing, this might be the most annoying advice ever.
No,
that I feel like it's super helpful. I feel like hearing what other writers do is not always great. I feel like writers are bad at talking about their process, or don't really have a process, or don't think about it the right way. I feel like the people who think about it the best are painters, and I feel like studying painters and reading a lot about painters, they just externalize their process so well and think so much about the theory of their practices. That has helped me so much to think in the right direction.
Can you give me an example?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, just paying attention to the way, just thinking about the New York school and abstract expressionism, how they arrived at that point of that way of painting from what came before them. It's just, they really thought about it.
Yeah.
And even people like Matisse or De Chirico, or all these people, they arrived at a process because they just thought about it a lot. And I think that gets kind of brushed aside in writing. I think also there's something to the physicality of painting where it's just
that was Paul Eck's whole thing, is he wanted to put the physical into the, his physical body onto the paint, into the thing. And that's it's weird, because you would think painting should be about the paint, but then, to your point, it's about the process that the painter is going through.
Yeah, totally. And just that they've thought a lot about what is popular right now, what was popular in the past, and then just taking that and kind of getting to a new place with it, if that makes sense. It's such annoying advice, but I feel like that's been really helpful, and especially with stand-up, just to encourage. I don't know, I feel like so many people are dismissive of thinking more deeply about what's behind their practices and processes, and they think it's magic, or they think it's stupid to care that much, or it's something that just happens. I think painting is the one thing that really encourages you to think okay, what am I doing and why am I doing it, and what's the best way to do this.
Interesting. Painting has come up twice today.
Really? What was the other time?
When we talked about CVS.
Oh my God, yes. We were talking about CVS earlier. It's a whole thing.
We've been talking about art.
We've been talking a lot about art.
Yeah.
Moss, I love it. I love this Italian, South Asian, fancy.
I didn't think that's what the word was going to be that you were going to say.
I realize we got to have more espresso on here where we talk about, hey, what is the process of the art and the way you think about it. I think it's so interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you guys for having me.
And sharing so much about your personal life.
Totally.
I thought that was great. I thought it was really cool. I'm going to think about it some more. I'm going to work on my pilot and make sure there's not so many demons in it, and literally, and where can our fans find you and your work?
Just Instagram is the only thing that I have.
Cool.
And yeah, that's about it.
What's your Instagram?
Oh my God, totally.
Just kind of guess.
It's just Moss Perircone. MossPerricone.
That's amazing. Yeah, definitely check him out on the scene. Check out his work.
Thank you.
And you can always find the podcast on Instagram at Asian Not Asian Pod, and you can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
And I'm everywhere at Johnny Arimoto.
And again, you can. I think this episode will be out by then. I will be at SF Sketchfest. That's in San Francisco. I'll be there February 3rd and 4th. Are you going to be there?
No. Okay. But it seems so fun. I've got to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
There.
I think it'll be really good. And we'll make Jenny feel excluded because
I always do, regardless.
FOMO.
Even if I'm not invited, I feel FOMO. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, and come check out Hack City. Just Google it.
I think this isn't going to come out. This isn't going to come out before.
I don't think so.
So the February one.
So check out the one in February.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, until then, any final thoughts, Jenny?
Create your vision boards and live your best life. And don't vape.
Don't vape.
Don't vape.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff about how vaping is bad, and I just saw a thing about like vaping. So don't, and also don't vape.
Look at the end of this episode where we talk about heartbreak and love and the process and art. We have a G.I. Joe moment where at the end it's like, and kids, stay in school.
Yeah.
Vaping destroyed my relationship.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.